Hello and welcome. Today we are going to talk about CMS. Now, what is CMS? What are the different types of CMSs? And how to choose the right CMS for your website development part. Now, CMS stand for Content Management System. It means it is one of a system which is going to allow you to manage your website design and development part efficiently without you even writing a single line of coding. It's called as CMS. If you remember in the previous classes, we talked about how to make the website. So we talked about for you to make a website, you need a designer and you need a developer. Now, what if in a situation you are neither a developer, you are neither a designer? Then how you are going to make a website? So people who are not tech savvy, people who do not know about technology, then these CMSs are going to be the most important tool for you to make your live working website, or I could say a live working professional website without you even thinking about coding. Now that is called as a CMS. Now when you look at the CMS, we generally categorize them into two major types of CMSs. What are these two? One is the open source CMS. Open source CMSs are those CMSs wherein you are not going to pay any royalty to the CMS who has developed the company who has developed the CMS. It means it is open, it is available for anybody to use it, modify it, and use it for commercial purpose. Then other part of the CMS which is called as a proprietary CMS. Now proprietary CMS means it is the CMS which is built by the commercial companies and they are making it available for you to use it on a payment mode. It could be on a monthly payment or a yearly payment. Now when you look at the open source CMSs, what are the top CMSs? Now you could see here in open source we got a WordPress, the most popular CMS in the world. In fact, as per one of our data, it has been seen that roughly around 24% of the global websites are powered or built on WordPress CMS, which is humongous. Now, other CMSs which are very popular on open source are Joomla, Drupal, Magento, and PrestaShop. These are the very popular. Joomla is more or less a bit of a technical kind of CMS used for making the enterprise level of website. Same goes with the Drupal as well. Now Magento is an open source and which is a very popular and powerful e-commerce website making CMS. PrestaShop on other side is also an open source e-commerce website making which is much simpler than your Magento but equally powerful like Magento websites. Alright. So now let's look at what are the proprietary CMSs which are available for us to look at. So in this one we could see Connecticut, Microsoft SharePoint, IBM Enterprise, Pulse CMS, Sitecore, Shopify. In fact, most of you might be knowing the name of Shopify. This is also one of a very popular content management system. But this comes into proprietary CMS. It means it is a paid CMS. Alright. So now the point is if you are going to choose a CMS, then which kind of CMS is good for you? Now I could recommend you, if you do not want to pay a recurring fee on running your website on a particular CMS, then I strongly recommend you should go ahead with the open source CMSs. And in open source CMSs, if you're not a technical guy, then I prefer or recommend you to go ahead with the WordPress CMS, the most popular and simplest CMS in the world. But if you know a bit of a technology and you still want to make a more enterprise level website, then for you Joomla and Drupal would be more better for you. And in case you want to go ahead with any paid CMS, then Shopify, no doubt it is one of the best one. But with Shopify, I'll tell you, if you want to use any particular plugin or functionality on your website, then you might end up buying all those necessary add-ons to your website, and those add-ons are going to be a recurring cost on your website development part. So that is where you have to really trade off the money for getting some good real benefits. All right, now the question which is there on our mind to understand how do you choose the right CMS for you. Right? So I've told you a couple of things before this. So first thing first, I recommend you to look at how technically sound you are. If you're not a tech savvy, you're not technically sound, then my only recommendation would be to go with the WordPress. If you know a bit of technology, then I recommend you to go with the Joomla or Drupal. But if you do not, but in Joomla and Drupal, again, I just said these are being an open source, so sometimes you might have to invest time in doing some custom development to be done. And if you do not want to take the headache of doing all those development part, and you don't have to worry about the money, then I could recommend you to go with the proprietary CMS with the Shopify. You can make a great website. Apart from that, you can use Microsoft SharePoint, Kentico, IBM, Sitecore. These are all equally good as well. Now, here are some basic things which you should keep in mind when you're going to choose your CMS. What are these? Let's look at it. Right. First thing first, any CMS you look at the development part when you write your content, which called as a website editor. The content editor should be very simple and easy to use. There are certain CMSs, they are very complex. So for a common man to use those CMSs, it takes a quite good amount of time in learning it. So if you really want to use a CMS which is easy for you to understand, it means their editor is powerful and easy. That is what you have to keep in mind. So how do you analyze which CMS is good for you? So I recommend when you go and try to buy your hosting, in the hosting service provider, you will find certain CMS already available. Go and install all those CMSs and use it for a couple of days or a month. And whatever CMS you feel you're getting that feeling of richness, easy of working, that you can choose to continue further. Right. The second thing what you have to keep in mind is the CMS should have the basic functionality which are needed to develop a website. So when I say what are the basic functionality, the editing part, the image manipulation, and the ability to put certain features onto the website, they should be really very easy. The drag and drop kind of thing should be there, which is going to make your development more faster. The third thing you have to keep in mind is editing the design should be super easy. Yes, absolutely. So when you look at the website layout, if you have to do any changes into the layout portion, it should be as easy as you could think of, right? So it should be as like you should be able to drag and drop and should be able to design it. So look at this kind of a feature into that CMS. Other important thing is user management and permission control. So at a times it might happen your website, what you are developing, it might be accessed by or it might be used by some other people as well into the company. Maybe somebody would be doing an SEO, some person would be doing an analytics, or you might be giving some portion of your website control to your ad agency. So in those cases, you should be having the capability of adding the users and allowing them to have this certain user permissions. This is very important because you cannot go and share your personal username and a password to everybody. In that case, there is high possibility people might start playing around with your website. Right? So you should be able to keep the master control of your website. And for that, it is good to have the user management feature on your CMS. Number five, your CMS should be easy to integrate with the third-party applications and plugins. For example, if your website, what you've developed, you are going to collect the leads from your leads on a MailChimp, then your website should have that capability of integrating MailChimp form to your website. It means MailChimp is a third party, WordPress is another party. So it should have this plain simple capability of integrating third party applications so that you can get the better benefit from your website. And the last thing what you keep in mind is the CMS should also have the e-commerce capabilities. Maybe there could be a situation you might be trying to sell a product or a service or trying to sell an event ticket. You should be able to create and manage on your own website. And these things should be super easy for you to manage it. And it could be done pretty easy if your CMS is capable for that. So the point is, if you're going to buy a CMS for yourself, look into all these features and basis that you go and take the decision of choosing the right CMS for your website. All right. Thank you. Bye bye.